What an amazing set of women, right? One more hand of applause for Mary, Christy, and Latasha. They truly are modeling the way for those following behind them, like the Brownies, as well as for those of us who walk alongside them. So thank you for all that you do, and we look forward to see where you take yourselves next. Without further ado or any angst or anxiety down that end of the table, I am privileged and honored to announce this year's ATHENA Young Professional Award winner, Miss Christy Uffelman.
So how about those brownies? There was a fascinating article earlier this summer in the Wall Street Journal entitled "The Double X Factor: What's Holding Women Back?" It stated that young women are currently entering the workforce better prepared, with more education and higher career aspirations than men. What's more, the article referred to a recent McKinsey study done with the 60 largest organizations in the country, where 9 out of 10 CEOs agreed that intentionally tapping into their female talent was critical to their business success. And yet, many organizations are bleeding their female talent. Executives state that their young women don't nominate themselves for promotions and that they must be prodded to do so. Emerging female leaders often lack sponsors to advocate for them or report to executives who assume that the young women don't want the tough assignments or who dismiss their contributions in meetings. In order to enact change, the question to answer is not why this occurs, but how. You see, I'm a coach by trade, and we make our living by working in the space of how. The why is easy. The how, not so much. Answering that question involves looking at the behaviors we do and don't do as emerging leaders, as executives, and as organizations. And then it involves changing that behavior. One tool I've found to be incredibly effective at changing behavior is peer mentoring, especially for women. In my experience, women learn best not from a lecture on, say, negotiation or a panel of experts, but they learn from having a dialogue with 6 other women, sharing their best practices around negotiation, what's worked for them and what hasn't. Women learn best through connection and conversation. And the beauty of peer mentoring is that you no longer feel alone. There have been many times, especially early in my career, where I felt lonely, when I felt that the challenge in front of me was insurmountable. And being the tenacious sort of person that I am, I would buckle down and I would solve it on my own. But the sad thing is that 2 floors up, another young woman facing the same challenge was also solving it alone. 3 blocks away, 8 blocks, 10, same challenge, different women. What we face individually as emerging female leaders is really a part of a collective experience. But to connect the dots, you need someone like my nominators, Emily Delestienne and Brianne Terrell, 2 women who knew the value of forming a peer group and did exactly that with the Circle of Trust. Inspired by Leadership Pittsburgh's LDI initiative in 2009, the Circle of Trust became the first cohort of its kind and is now a model for peer mentoring in our region and across the nation, specifically to the development of emerging female leaders. And after about 8 months into this new cohort-based learning, we as a group realized that peer mentoring has an inherent limitation. As young women, we don't know what we don't know. And as a lifelong learner around leadership development, my answer to this challenge was easy: mentoring. But the question then arose, where do we as young women find role models? And that's a difficult question to answer, especially for those of us in male-dominated fields. And with Pittsburgh full of best-in-class leaders, how could we as a small group from vastly different industries engage and learn from them? How could we intentionally further our leadership development? And so with the help of a few truly amazing women, Aradhna Oliphant, Kim Fleming, and Dr. Jean Furkatich, we created a unique mentoring vehicle. Thanks to those 3 women who stepped up and offered to leverage their network so that we could expand ours. As a group, the Circle of Trust continues to meet with leaders in our region passionate about moving the mark forward for young women in their organizations and dialoguing together how to improve the how of how we work. These leaders, men and women alike, share their kernels of wisdom, what they wish they would have known when, through 90-minute guest mentoring sessions. And inspired by the success of the Circle of Trust and being peppered with requests from both emerging leaders and potential guest mentors alike, the momentum of this model continues. It has been replicated within the Allegheny Conference, offered to Leadership Pittsburgh's LDI classes, and is now creating a national footprint with Strong Women, Strong Girls. And so in living my personal commitment to sharing best practices, I would like to offer to all my peers in the room the top 5 lessons learned from our guest mentors in the last couple of years. Number 1, you will say and do things you will regret. Let it go and move on. 2, get on a board for a cause you believe in and raise money. Fundraising is a competency that will serve you well throughout your career. Number 3, it's okay not to be liked. 4, saying no is a skill. Practice it. And 5, be strategic about building your network. Search out opportunities to do for others, make connections that matter to people, and don't look for others to do for you. If you remain authentic to this, when you need support, people will be there. But you have to ask. So I would like to close with my sincere thanks to those organizations and leaders out there savvy enough to realize the investment they have in their young men and women, and who do what they can to further the advancement of emerging leaders throughout our great region. And in my mind, no one in this city does that better than Mascaro Construction. It starts at the top with our CEO, John Mascaro Jr., and his brothers, Jeffrey and Michael. They live their value of continuous improvement daily, and they're never afraid of the how. And so, to the women I continue to learn beside, the guest mentors I continue to learn from, and the emerging leaders in the room and throughout our region today, I share this great honor with you. Thank you.